I feel like there's a lot of shitty advice. Like a lot.
Are you talking about those, like when someone posts an image of text on their Facebook wall that says something like, it's not a healthy relationship without blah, 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 or like,
yeah,
you shouldn't do this while you do that.
Yeah, well,
whatever.
There's the like, Facebook fucking psychotherapists or psychiatrists that love to like spew nonsense on Facebook. And then lately I've been seeing a lot of things posted up on like regular news, you know, obviously because, you know, I follow a lot of podcast stuff now because we're doing this and I want to see what ideas people are coming up with because it's a growing thing. It's a growing medium. So there's always like new techniques and tricks and things to do to grow your audience and whatnot. But there's a lot of relationship podcasts now. And I particularly like the Anna Faris's Unqualified podcast. Like they have some great guests on there and I laugh a lot. I went way back and listened to one of the first ones that had Jason Mantzoukas on it. And that guy, oh my God.
He's hilarious on every podcast he does.
And I gotta say, she deserves a fucking medal for the shit that now I understand her point of her podcast is to give unqualified relationship advice.
Right. She repeatedly says that she doesn't know anything.
She's not. No, my problem is not with Anna Faris at all. My problem is with the fucking people, like the people that are getting the relationship advice. The things that they need help on are so fucking ridiculous. Like, how the hell are you 25, 27, 31 and still this stupid? Like, and I find myself, it's funny because every once in a while she'll have a guest on there who's like brutally honest. And you could tell they want to tell the caller, like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you kind of, and they go, but can I just, what? They don't want to be mean because they're celebrities. But at the same time, it's like, maybe that person needs to hear some harsh shit.
It would be great to have a podcast like that and just, like, tell people, if you get on the show, we're not gonna like beat around the bush. Like, we're gonna fucking tell you the truth.
And the thing is I understand
you just
that
don't have
off...
any filter. That would be great.
Yeah, like, and I'll be honest, I would love to do it. I would love to help people.
The podcast would be called like Strangers Unfiltered Advice.
Something, yes. It could still be the unreasonably angry advice column. I don't give a fuck. But my point is like, people sometimes need to hear the truth harsher than they hear it. Now, granted, my immediate response is to say things meaner than I need to say them, but finding that middle ground is important. The problem is if you don't really like put the emphasis and the onus on the person who's calling, they don't feel like they're doing anything wrong. And I feel like a lot of times what I see from people asking for advice on Facebook or on social media or on these type of podcasts or write-in columns or whatever is that you'll either get somebody who really tells them what they need to hear, or you'll get somebody who only plays it as if that's the only side of the story. So it's like, my boyfriend cheated on me and I'm sad. I'm like, okay, that's a very sad story. How did you meet your boyfriend? Oh, well, he was dating this girl and he didn't like her anymore. So it's like, what the fuck? So what I want to say right then is like, hold on, pause.
You started the relationship by swinging, and now you're surprised that he's swinging?
Yes, you're surprised that a cheater cheated? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? The thing is, nobody wants to say that to the person calling.
That's like the Office episode where Michael finds out that he's the one who she's cheating with.
Man. Yeah, and that's...
I'm the mistress?
Exactly. And I'm not saying, like... Now, granted, yes, there are varying level degrees of just assholery, but I'm like, dude, every once in a while, there's somebody on the podcast, or they're like, how long have you guys been dating each other? Well, about a month now. It's a month. It's a month of your life. If you're 30 years old, that's such a tiny speck of it. Fuck off. Tell the person to kick on down the road and go find someone that treats you better.
That's true. Everyone on that podcast is under 30. Like,
I don't think every single time. And they're never guys. They're never guys. I've never heard it. Have you heard one?
Few.
Okay. I'm still trying to find an episode where a guy calls, and I want to hear a guy call. I'm not saying it's going to be better. I just want to hear,
right.
I want to hear, but it's like, it really, more often than not, it's like, my asshole boyfriend is an asshole. And I'm like, well, damn it, are there any, like, not nice women out there? But, no, there was one that was like, oh God, what was it? She's like, oh, my gay best friend set me up with his best guy friend that he secretly has feelings for. What do I do? What? And then it turns out the gay guy has feelings for the straight guy. And she's like, I just don't know what to do. And Jason, it was Jason Mantzoukas, and he's like, well, it kind of sounds to me like your friend's not a very good friend. And I'm like, that's the PG way of saying your friend's a fucking dick. He set you up with someone he had feelings for. He shouldn't be surprised that things worked out.
What if it was her girlfriend who did that?
But I'm like, these are such simple fucking problems.
Yeah.
But then again, we're on a podcast right now where we bitch about people using their blinker too little.
It's also, yeah. But it's also like, why would you... What's the place that they had to get at where they were like, okay, I'm going to call a podcast about this problem.
Instead of communicating?
Well, instead of trying to figure it out on their own.
Instead of communicating.
Right.
Literally, hey, if we had a conversation about this would be done. We'd be fine.
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't understand that leap. Like, where it's just like,
not.
Obviously I can't fix this problem on my own.
You're not socially inept.
Like, I guess they would be going to their parents if they weren't going to the podcast, or like what?
God.
Well, I don't know. That's a whole other whatever. Should we just play the music?
Yeah.
Okay. Hello and welcome to episode 17 of the Unreasonably Angry podcast. I am Gary.
And I'm Eric.
And how are you doing, fuckers? Nice of you to join us.
Hopefully doing well.
Nice of you to listen to this from San Diego. All of everyone who's at Comic-Con, because it's like the biggest magnet of... What am I saying?
I don't know. Continue. I'd like to hear
It's just like... it seems like everywhere you go on the internet, it's like April Fool's or like Black Friday, where it just like it takes over the whole fucking internet.
It's like a plague.
Yeah, like everywhere you go, SDCC, 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 SDCC. It's like, what the fuck? Yeah, it's...
And meanwhile, I'm just like, just show me the trailer for It. That's really all I'm waiting for. Yeah. Just show me the trailer for It.
Yeah. But let's not get too into that, because we were talking about
advice.
What were we talking about?
Advice. People talking. I know we normally shift off of our, what we talk about at the beginning of the episode. A lot of times we'll start something else, but it really, like, listening to the different podcasts that I've been listening to and following things online, and really, it's interesting to me. I remember when I was a kid, people would have those. With Dear Abby, is that what the old one was? Was like, you're not going to remember this, but there used to be like newspaper
just
advice sections.
Yeah, where people write.
Well, do you remember Sleepless in Seattle?
Yeah,
that whole movie's based on that.
Advice columnists.
Yeah, it's a radio show where people would call in and ask about their situation and all that.
Sure.
And the thing is, I've always been kind of fascinated by those.
Well, so that was Tom Hanks's role, right?
Yeah.
Was he a therapist? Or
he was a widower. No, remember his son called the National Syndicated the show.
Oh, no. So he wasn't the one who hosted the show.
No. He was the dad.
Who was the one who hosted the show?
We don't see her. Dr. Laura or some shit.
Okay, so it's a doctor.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Like, we have...
No.
And obviously... No, okay. And obviously we talked about how Anna Faris...
we can't talk about stuff.
No, but let me make my point. So we talked about how Anna Faris, like, has almost like a disclaimer that's in the title.
Her name in the show is unqualified.
Qualified to give that advice.
Yeah.
And neither are we. And
yeah,
neither are most podcast shows.
Neither are most anythings.
But see, that's the thing though, is like, and I don't think, and that's fine. Like, I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with like radio shows with people calling in and then just giving them advice from their own experience,
sure,
whoever it is. But what I do have an issue with is what I think you're getting at is where people, they don't ever take anything with a grain of salt. Like, it seems like...
No, that's actually not where I'm going, but we can talk about that also.
It seems like we said, it's mostly people under 30. Like, it's usually 20.
Well, on that show, yes. But there are still... I mean, look, fucking Cosmo, whether it's real or not, people write into Cosmo into their 40s.
That's true.
People write into... People call those shows still... There's still those nationally syndicated advice radio shows, those still exist. So, and the thing is,
I'm not going to narrow it down to a specific age group,
yeah.
but I don't think people. It seems like people just take things as truths more than they really should. Like they see something on their Facebook feed and it's like, oh, that's good advice. I should follow that for the rest of my life now. And I won't even think twice about it. People don't think for themselves. Like they don't think about stuff.
So
it's fine. Asking for advice that's not a bad thing. Like that's fine. If you feel like you need support with something or you don't really know what to do about something, then sure. But if you just take everything, like all advice, everything just like at the same level, like if you just take it all with the same amount of like seriousness, then that's probably not a good thing.
Okay, so as you're talking about this, I wrote down two things. There's two things that I react to what you just said. Two things that trigger. First off, what I was trying to finish before was that...
Oh, I triggered you? I thought you said, did you say trigger?
It did trigger something in my brain. I didn't mean to get my triggers going. Fuck me. But no, shit. Walked right into that one. So there's a couple things. First, let me go back to what I wanted to finish before. I've always found that interesting. I've always found people reaching out and then sharing those conversations interesting. Now, is it enough that I want to go like read those columns all the time? No. But whenever those things do come up, I'm intrigued by the way people's brains work. That's just who I am as a person. I've always been kind of people are shoehorning me into being like an argumentative person or a debate driven person, and it's people think it's just me wanting to challenge people, or oh, you're just argumentative, or you're just, and it's like, no, I'm actually, the reason I am the way that I am is I am interested by the way your brain works.
And you want to learn it.
Yeah. And things, what people may take as like, well, why are you questioning what I think? And I'm like, no, I'm actually not. Even if I don't agree with your point of view, I'd like to see how you got there. Mm-hmm. Because the road that you took to get to there may be a road I've never considered. And that to me is so interesting about people's brains.
It's a good way to learn.
Yeah. Really quickly, it's a serious conversation. It's a serious topic. So let me just throw in fart, poop, boobies, just so that we're not getting too serious on the podcast. Because, fart and poop and boobies, it just brings a smile to your face. But my 2 points...
At least one of the three, yeah.
Well, how often do you poop and then you're looking at boobies on your phone? I mean, it happens a lot. So
at most, like almost 90% of the time.
And now we've come full circle. So, no, the two things that from what you just said, that I thought of immediately was there's 2 points to that. One, people take everything that they hear and they just immediately count it as truth. To boil that down or to break that down, to unpack that, as they say, you're 100% right. Don't call, and that's why I love Anna Faris, the way that she does things, is because she goes, look, I'm a celebrity, I'm an actress.
Yeah. And
the people on the podcast with her, they've literally said, you're getting advice from actors. Like, we're probably not the right people to be asking for this.
I love when she has different guests and then they start to give advice and she compliments them on like how good.
Did you listen to the Terry Crews episode?
Oh no, but that sounds great.
That may be I gained so much respect for Terry Crews listening to that episode. Not that I didn't already think he was just the coolest guy. He seems like he has a really... But he's been married for like 21 or 25 years, and he talks about his wife the way that I think about my wife. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people they'll listen to the podcast, and some people are like, man, you say a lot of nice things about your wife. And some people are like, it's almost like they go, do you really feel that way? And I'm like, no, my wife that's it for me. Like that's when I make decisions, I think about my wife.
Yeah.
And listening to Terry Crews explain the way men's brains work and how everything we do comes from a place of pride or insecurity. Like, he really broke things down, and his advice to people was great. It was really, really interesting.
That's cool.
That being said, that I like that she doesn't do that, but a lot of people do. They take, okay, this person that I respect, this person that I've never met before, because they're successful in their field, they must know more than I know about this topic. And it's like, well, they're not more successful in being a psychiatrist, so pump the brakes.
Well, what's funny is that a lot of them, I mean, I would say that, because this is I guess an optimistic point of view, but I would say that most famous people, like, I don't mean like most of the most famous people. I mean like most of just all famous people in general are humble and realize that, and try to realize that they don't know everything just because they're famous.
You would hope.
I would
don't
hope.
know.
I guess that
see,
might be optimistic.
I was going to say, you may be more optimistic in that field than I am.
Well, it's not to say that they're not narcissistic, at least slightly. And it's not to say that they don't like, they're not competitive and they don't like think that way. But it's also to say that they're hopefully there's a side of them that remains humble and realizes that they're not on top of the world. They're just more successful.
I think the ones that it really depends, because the ones that are like that are usually aren't the ones who go out of their way to be in the public limelight. And that's the difference.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at celebrities as a whole right now, the word celebrity in and of itself, like what we define as a celebrity right now, like there are people that are celebrities just for existing because their parents had money. So
I guess I was thinking about actors and Hollywood.
It really depends because, well, to be a successful actor, I think you really have to be, a lot of them deal with a lot of insecurities and a lot of them deal with self-reflection, and you really have to dig into who you are to become
probably more than
honest with a character.
Other people.
Yeah. The second part of what you were saying is the part of me that I wish people did more was that you said take it with a grain of salt. What I really wish people would do is take that and be self-reflective. Sit down, take the advice, think about how that lines up for you, how that lines up for your life, how that truth fits into what you're doing, and then go from there.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think you have to be a registered therapist to help people with their life, and you kind of covered that. And I've talked to therapists. I've gone to a psychiatrist before and talked about different things, and it helps. And some of the best conversations I've had with people that have just gone through things and that are able to give me a separate perspective on the way that they look at the world.
Right.
And I think it's really important that we, as a people, have each other to lean on and have the ability to talk to each other. But because of that, I wish that A, people were more truthful with people. B, I wish people were able to take the truth better than we are. And C, took that truth and really looked at the whole situation before making a rash decision. Mm-hmm. Just because something seems right now, fucking sleep on it. Just because somebody says, oh, your boyfriend's an asshole, you should break up with him. Oh, okay, let me go do that. Well, you don't know what that person's motives are. They may be a single person who's miserable being single, so they may be just telling you to break up with your boyfriend so you could be single too.
Yeah.
We've all had that. I've had friends that just hated my girlfriend because it was like, oh, I don't like her, dude. She's kind of a bitch. I'm like, why? Oh, she's just always around. I'm like, yeah, dude, that's kind of the point. And then slowly you're looking at it like, do you have a problem with her, or do you have a problem that I'm not paying enough attention to you?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
that's a problem. That's a problem in itself when people don't realize that they're the problem.
Yeah. But
that's harder to address.
But at the end of all of this, the part that I think that I've realized, the part that makes me, that clicked in my head was it's communication. It's communication. It's just nobody knows how to fucking talk. And I thought, and it was funny because I came home the other night after listening to one of the podcasts, because I listen to them on the way to and from work basically every day now. And the first thing out of my mouth to my wife was, I don't understand how there's so many people in relationships that are so fucking clueless on so many things. And I looked back and I said, okay, before I met her, how great was I at stuff? And I wasn't. Like, I had all kinds of terrible relationships. And the thing that stuck out for me is what's the thing that changed once I met my wife? She got me to communicate. She got me to sit down and talk. Like, if we had a misunderstanding, we would literally sit there face to face and we would talk.
Yeah, and just ask, like, why do you feel that way?
Exactly. And the thing is people would rather call a celebrity and put their business out in the street on a fucking podcast for a million people to listen to than look at the person that they want to save this relationship with and go, hey, this is bothering me. I'm upset about this. How do you feel? Mm-hmm. The reason for that is they're so scared that person's not going to care or not going to respect their feelings that it's going to ruin the relationship.
Well, it goes back to something we talked about a while ago. Yeah, I think with Jeff about people not
being able to take criticism.
Yeah, and not being able to confront issues head on. Yeah, and like to be able to realize that there may be consequences, and there might be hurt feelings, but still, it's a conversation
people are scared.
Needs to be had.
People are scared. Yeah, and it went back to what we talked about last week with rejection. People don't want to be rejected. Now, one of the things Terry Crews said, which I thought was great, he said the reason that people don't find true love more often than not is because people they're unable to, or they're afraid to be completely vulnerable with somebody else. And I actually had this conversation with a friend of mine this week, and she was talking about her and her husband and how she wishes they would communicate a little bit better. And I said, honestly, it took me a really long time to get to where I'm at, where I can talk with my wife, and I'm still trying to get better at it. But if you can if you're in a relationship, if you think that the relationship is worth solving, worth working at, worth calling a podcast about, then obviously you care about that person. But
Sure.
if you care about that person, don't you want to know that that's the type of person that would be able to have a conversation with you about something you didn't like?
True.
Shouldn't they be the type of person that would love you even if you say a bunch of wild and crazy shit?
True.
And that's what Terry Crews actually said about his wife. He said, "There's nothing better than knowing this woman will still love me even though she knows all of my dirt." Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. That's the reason that I love my wife so much. She knows I'm a pain in the ass, and she still loves me even after all the crazy stuff. And I think all it takes really for people is to talk, to go, "Hey, this is what's going on. This is what I think. What do you think?" That person goes, "Well, I don't agree." Oh no. You have a conversation, you talk, you argue. Arguing's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
The bad thing is just not talking to each other and just letting things go to shit. But anyway.
Yeah. To take it back to the people giving the advice, I think, I was going to say that I think like the ability to give advice kind of, most of the time, good advice will come from experience. Mm-hmm. Like if someone has a shared experience with that kind of thing and they can relate to it and they can be sympathetic.
Yeah.
But it also, like, beyond that, when you go outside of that and it's something you haven't experienced, I think it kind of just boils down to emotional intelligence and just like trying to figure out like how it, how you could relate to it. But I think to touch on why people will go to celebrities and why people think we were talking about why people think celebrities know everything and like that they know more than them. And I think like I watched this video. You saw that video about the Paul, what are their names? The Paul brothers on YouTube.
Yeah,
the
I think they were Disney people, I guess, that became vloggers.
Were they?
I thought that's what somebody said.
That's even
Jake Paul
worse.
or something like that.
Anyway, yeah. So there are these vloggers on YouTube who, I mean, everyone knows they're vloggers on YouTube, but these guys,
I didn't until this week.
well,
and now I wish I could go back.
You didn't know that?
Had no idea who they were.
You didn't know about that culture? Oh, I don't mean them specifically. I just mean people.
Oh, I know who vloggers are.
Yeah,
yeah.
People know who vloggers.
Yeah,
but if you don't know who these guys are, they're basically just the epitome of that kind of culture where it's just like the worst. They're apparently the best, and that makes them the worst in my eyes.
All I know is a few
they're
things.
They're the most popular. They make the most money. They have the most fans. Whatever.
Well, from my understanding, most of their fans are like 12-year-old girls.
But here's the thing. So in that video, there was I watched a video of a guy criticizing them, and he talked about what was it? Parasocial relationships.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was he described it as people connecting to celebrities or stars or whoever, like people in public figures, and even just vloggers on YouTube, by like feeling like they know them, when really they don't. They're just fans. So like, when someone you'll go see your favorite band and you see them on stage and you like feel like you know them because you read about them and you know about them, but they don't know anything about you.
Yeah.
So
I know your dog's name is Marnie.
Yeah.
And your favorite flavor of jam is raspberry.
And even like Anna Faris has talked about that, like how she gets people coming up to her and they feel like they know her and she doesn't know them at all. And it's really weird. But the thing about these guys and a lot of vloggers on YouTube are that they exploit that and they use it to their advantage to gain more popularity and to what the guy in the video said was they use it to fill voids of people who are vulnerable, like young girls, like teenage girls who like, they want a boyfriend or they want,
they're emotionally manipulative.
Right.
Emotionally manipulative. Yeah.
And so I think that kind of goes into that. Like if those guys were to give advice in their video, they don't fucking, I can say for a fact pretty much that they don't know shit about life because their life is completely fucking crazy and has nothing to do with a normal American.
Well, so for me, I don't know them at all. So I don't know how they were raised, where they grew up, any of that stuff. So I can't. I'm going to save my opinion on that for knowing.
If
they grew up the way that they act now, then
if I were to guess, they probably already had a good amount of money. to like invest into getting more through YouTube. That's
Gotcha.
my guess.
Again, I have no idea. I thought they were on
Well,
Disney
that's
or
how
something.
I feel like that's how most of the vloggers on YouTube, like they're already in a wealthy family, and then they just like they invest in a bunch of recording equipment and video cameras and stuff, and then they make more. I don't know, but
I'm ill-informed. All I do know is that I saw that he was going to be sued by his neighbors for basically being a nuisance. And then I saw a video of him honking like a really large air horn at somebody as we were walking across the street, and the guy spit on him. And I'm like, well, I don't feel bad for you. That's kind of a dick move, man. Like,
they do sensational.
And he still dabs. He dabs. I saw him dab. Who fucking dabs still?
And
Did we talk about this?
There was a local news segment on them. And the reporter was interviewing him, and he like couldn't get him to answer a real question.
Yeah.
And
did
then
he say the word dab and then dabbed?
Yeah, no. Not only did he dab and say the word dab, but he pointed at the reporter's shoes and was like, he said, "What are those?" Which I think that's like a joke that people do.
Yeah, it was an internet thing. It was. I guess would you call it a meme? I guess it was a meme for a while.
The word meme is pretty fucking loosely used these days.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. People
like,
keep saying, "Oh, it's a meme," and I'm like, "Is it?" I thought a meme was like a picture with words on it, but I guess that means like.
Well, it mean more than that, but now it's
that's
like
what
anything.
I used to think. A meme, like the Irma Gerd girl. Like I thought that was a meme, and then people are like, "Oh, that's a meme," and I'm like, "Wait, now I'm old and confused."
Just, I guess anything is a meme.
Anything that happens regularly is a meme now. So me shitting is a meme. Like,
well, especially like
the
me IRL subreddit. Like the me IRL subreddit really seems like people with anxiety who are immature and don't know how to deal with it, and then they go on the internet and they're like
80% of the people on the internet
jokingly talk about like being extremely like depressed and stuff, and it's like, Jesus, these people need help. Like this isn't funny. This is terrible.
It's not.
Like.
It's not, and that's the thing that bothers me is you have, and the thing is as you're talking about this guy and like the parasocial relationships, people are paying more attention to it now because the way the vloggers work and the YouTube and all those things.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, it's not any different than how it's always been about celebrities. People have been doing that for a long time, except people used to call it stalkers. Right. Like if you'd show up at their house and be like, "Hey, I made you this pie I know you liked," and they're like, "How'd you get to my house?" Yeah. "Oh, I got a star map." Like they were stalkers, but now it's become so commonplace for you to allow fans and people you don't know into the everyday bits of your life. Then people are suddenly surprised that these people are following you around. The difference is you have people that don't really want that are, they try to keep a safe distance. And then there's people like this that allow throngs of like underage girls to be hanging out in front of their house. And it's like, A, that's fucking irresponsible shit. But B,
that is really.
Where the hell are the parents?
They're there. They bring them there. You see the video?
What?
Yeah, there are parents who take their children to that guy's house to see him.
No.
Yeah.
No.
In the news segment, they were like standing by their cars, like just.
Bill
like,
Burr was talking about how they're talking about.
Well, wait before we get.
This has to do with this. Bill Burr was talking about how they're talking about tearing down Adolf Hitler's like childhood home, right? Because apparently it's such like a nuisance, a tourist attraction. People stop and they want to take a picture like that's where evil was born, blah, blah, blah. If they'll tear down that, which attracts, 30, 40, 100 people a day to take pictures, and this guy has throngs of people hanging out in front of his house, why don't they tear his fucking house down? Now, I'm not saying he's as bad
literally Hitler.
He's not Hitler, but at least Hitler has some sort of historical significance, and there's a reason. You know what I mean? Like, you're like... well, is that a shitty analogy?
I don't. That's quite a connection.
That's my point. Like, they're people are willing to destroy. I'm not saying Hitler.
Wait, so why were they tearing it down?
They want to get rid of his where his like, childhood home was because apparently that city deals with a lot of tourists that want to stop at that building and like take pictures of it.
It's just in a regular place.
It's just a regular place. Yeah. So people, it's causing a ruckus.
I see.
But I'm like, that at least has some sort of historical significance. Now, even if he was a gigantic monster, like it's still significant in the story of the world.
Right.
Whereas this idiot is posting videos of himself dabbing and getting spit on YouTube, and his house gets to stay up. I don't know. I think I went too far here. I think I need to.
Well, yeah, take a chill pill here.
Wait, you know how many people regularly do that now, though? This person is literally Hitler. Oh God. Yeah, he's literally the same as somebody who murdered millions of people.
The 2010s are like the years of
exaggeration,
hyperbolic statements.
Good God.
But no, what I was going to say is that you were talking about how the relationships haven't changed.
Yeah.
Like people like in the 80s would still do that with
Yeah.
whoever it was. But what I think is different now, though, especially with YouTube, is that these people, they're not, musicians. They're not in a band. They're not movie
Talented?
actors. There's nothing about them there's nothing about them that should warrant them being seen by millions of people.
You have no skills. You have no skills.
But they're being like, they're popularizing narcissism.
Yes,
They're making it okay.
I said that 10 minutes ago. I said what we call celebrities now is nonsense. Like what we call a celebrity.
Right. It's not anything.
We feed into it though. I mean, we went from taking pictures to needing a forward-facing camera on our phone to take a picture of our face.
Yeah.
That was not a thing. Like, go back 15 years ago and look at cell phones. You used to have to turn your cell phone around and try to figure out how to fucking maneuver the thing.
Right.
And now there's a selfie camera that's built in that's nicer than anybody had normal cameras for the last 50 fucking years. But because we can't live without the ability to take a picture of our face at the thing we're doing. Mm-hmm. And that's it.
Well,
We've literally created a society where we feel like everybody needs to see our face and everything we do all the time.
And not just that, but we perpetuate it by looking at each other's selfies.
We like each other's Instagram pages. I'm not saying I'm innocent of it. You're not saying you're innocent.
No.
This goddamn podcast is us going, hey, we're annoyed by this. Care about it.
But here's the difference. And I'm not going to say I'm better than anyone.
No, of course not. I mean, I'm better.
I kind of am, but but okay, I guess this will come off condescending. But when I take a selfie, when I use the forward-facing camera, like especially on Snapchat, I do it for some sort of purpose.
Yeah.
Like I'm doing something funny, like I'm making a funny face or like I'm being silly or something. It's not just like, look at my face for the sake of looking at my face.
But again, to be fair, why does anybody care to see your funny face? Why does anybody care to see my funny face? Why does anybody care to see Carlos while he's... Why does anyone care to see Carlos while he's in the toilet? No one cares to see it, but we still send it.
Well, it's funny because he's taking a picture while he's on the toilet.
Well, that's the thing. I get that. That's the part, I guess, for me that I feel like that differentiates the two is...
There's a very fine line.
If we're doing it to make each other laugh, like if you're being silly for a few friends to make someone laugh, to try to make their day better, I get it. If you're doing it because you have this incessant or innate need to be validated by other people, that's a different thing. But nobody's going to take the time to go, which one am I? Which one am I? Mm-hmm. Do I need this attention? And the thing is there's nothing wrong with needing attention. There's nothing wrong with that. Mm-hmm. I don't look at someone and go, oh, you need some attention right now. Oh, what the fuck's wrong with you? Sometimes just wanting someone to pay attention to you for a minute makes you feel like you're connected, makes you feel like you're part of the world. I get that. But there's a difference between needing someone to talk to, someone to make you feel like you're there versus, hey, I need somebody to feed into this so I don't feel insecure, because you may think that you're helping yourself, but if in reality is there's a certain point where you're not getting that attention. And if you're using that as a crutch, you're fucked.
Yeah.
When somebody gets 1,000 likes on a picture and then the next picture they post, there's 200 likes. The first thing is, well, what happened? What changed? Is it my haircut? Is it the color? Did I have something in my nose?
Yeah. And that's a whole other layer. Bleh. That's a whole other layer to add on to. Is to add on to all of this is the we did touch on it, how they're filling a void of like self-esteem and self-confidence what they don't have, and they feel like if they are part of this YouTube community that they belong and they're accepted. And I mean, it's not a real community.
But that's the thing is though, we're at a world. We're not. That's not where we are in time now. We're at a time right now.
I know.
Where your online friends are your friends. Yeah. Where people you talk to on the internet are your friends. There's no.
It's funny. Like I remember that brings me back to I think I've actually talked about it before for some reason. But when I used to play TF2 when I was like in middle school or like early high school, how I was a part of a forum community of people who would like play together all the time. They had their own server and blah,
like a little clan.
Yeah. And so here's the thing. I would come home from school and do my homework and go on and talk to them. But I also, it's not like I didn't have friends at school. Yeah. Like, and in my head, it was clear that the friends at school were real
People?
friends that I have real conversations and discussions with and connect with. And the people online, not to say I can't make that sort of connection with them.
Of course, that's not,
But it's different. It's you're playing a game together and you're just talking to each other. And like I know a friend who met his girlfriend online playing TF2, literally.
You know someone who's married the person they met online. Like we know those. Yeah, this isn't a matter of boo you. That's not what we're doing. We're not poo-pooing your joy of having friends online.
But the issue, I think, is when people will
substitute real relationships,
not see the difference between the two, and they just think, oh, these people are online, they care about me, like they're there for me, and we're real friends. And
you may be, but I think there's still an importance in communicating and socializing in a real environment, in a real world scenario. I think the more we get to a point where we aren't interacting in those ways, the more difficult it becomes to communicate. But we talked about before, people aren't confrontational. People can't have an argument face to face anymore. Like, people just can't do it. Like, I can't tell you how much I see where you can see someone storm off or see someone upset. And you're like, hey, you all right? Yeah, I'm okay. Are you sure? Yeah, I'm okay. Why don't you just tell me what's going on? I just don't want to get into it. Why? You want to sit there and stew on it instead? Like, you want to be upset? You want to be angry at me instead of just telling me? I can't apologize if you don't tell me what you're mad about. Yeah. And I think that's one of the tough parts about having those type of online relationships is you don't get to have that face to face. And if you're not used to it, then the rare case that it does come up, you don't know how to handle it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So, yeah, I mean, to sum it up, I guess just like there's a difference between like
communicate,
whether you're talking to people on whether you're calling into a podcast, whether you're playing games with people online, whether you're talking to people on YouTube. It's like you said, it's not always real communication.
Well, not that,
not really
take what you're getting, take what you're hearing. It's kind of like this, like we get angry about stuff, right? I wouldn't want somebody to like just go, oh man, Eric hates everything about this. No, we're talking about a certain thing. You take part of that, you break it apart, and you go, okay, well, I get what his point was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like take the things that you're listening to, take the advice that you're getting, and really see if it makes a difference to your life, and then go from there.
Right. It would be like if someone who listened to this podcast, like met us, like, and then started talking to us, like they would just want to keep talking about things that we are upset about and that we complain about. And then at a certain point, we'd be like, we don't just complain about things. Well, we do the podcast as that's the theme of our podcast, but that's not who we are.
No, and that's, if you think about it, that's what one of the conversations we've had with real people is, oh, is your guys' podcast just angry? Or we'll get somebody's like, you guys were angry enough this week. And I was like, I understand the name is Unreasonably Angry Podcast, but that doesn't mean that we're only angry always and forever. Like we vent about things we're angry about. We make fun of ourselves for being angry, but it's also about life. Like we like to talk about life. And so your point is take the things you get, take the parts you get and talk about them with someone.
Right. So, even though we're not always angry, I do have something else that I'm angry about.
Yeah.
So, as we touched on, Comic-Con is happening.
Yeah.
And I'm not just gonna shit all over it because it is a cool thing. And like there are times like when I was a bit younger, but there were times when I was like, oh, it'd be so much fun to go there and to, I'm not a huge comic book guy, but just to like see some of the panels, like they even have
because
just,
it's
like,
more than just comics now.
Yeah,
like, there's a lot more that go into it.
And that's one of the things is I think it was it Guillermo del Toro? I can't say it.
I know it's not easy. Hellboy guy.
Yeah. I think it was him who was talking about like when did Comic-Con become like a
pop
movie?
culture con?
Right. Mm-hmm. Exactly. It's not comic books anymore, and it's not it's not just comic books, and a lot of comic book fans are upset about that
because their culture is being appropriated,
right? And it's just people going there to see like movie panels and see celebrities and stuff.
I'm pretty sure what one of our friends said was that they'd see stuff about Overwatch and boobs because of the cosplaying.
Okay.
Yeah. Would you want to go there? There's boobs.
Right, and Overwatch is a video game, and like it has nothing to do with comics.
And then I think our friend retorted, "Yeah, that's what the internet is for." Now we have to be so
true.
creepy.
Why would you
be creepy in a big group of people?
That's
you pervert.
That's true. But so the problem though that I do have with it is we're seeing all these like Comic-Con trailers and like the Justice League trailer is 4 fucking minutes long.
Yeah.
And I saw that and I was like, it has to be like 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and then there's a minute and 30 seconds of like whatever the channel is doing. No, it's literally 4 minutes long. And like there's like a intro thing, and then there's an intro thing, and then there's like the middle part, and then there's the title sequence, and then there's a post-title sequence.
Yeah.
And then there's like it's like Jesus, like a trailer is like a chore for me to watch now.
And how much what's the percentage increase of your desire to see that movie after spending 4 minutes watching
Negative 50. I now really don't want to see that movie.
So there's a couple of things. One, Gary, it was an exclusive trailer. It was exclusive. Which is funny because it's an exclusive trailer to Comic-Con, yet everyone in the world's now seen it. The second part is you are now venturing into that part of your life that you will understand me a little bit more. Mm-hmm. The part of your life that's called, that's not for me. That wasn't made for me.
Yeah.
And as you get older, the more things you realize, yep, they didn't do that for me.
Is that it? Or is it no, bear with me. Is that it? Or is it that blockbuster movie studios and all of these mainstream things are really like just becoming worse?
No, that's a huge part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's both.
Oh yeah, but the thing is I've realized most of the things that I don't like, I'm like, wow, that's stupid. I think to myself, and this is a huge
things that are made for the masses.
It's a huge piece for me because it's helped me realize that I'm being more self-aware. I think to myself, wow, that was a piece of shit they just did. And then I think to myself, the guys in the marketing department probably didn't pick me. That's probably not who they were aiming for.
They know what they're doing.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm like, maybe they did their job. Maybe they annoyed me just enough.
See, that's what's funny is the marketing departments of those studios are not at all who I have a problem with. They're doing their job and they're doing it very well.
Yeah.
But did
I ever tell you the story of when Joe and I got tickets to go see a sneak preview of a movie?
No, what movie was it?
So my buddy Joe and I, back in California, it was a while back, we went to go see, we didn't know. It was come to this theater at this time, and you get to see a sneak preview of a movie. I'm like, awesome. For free. So we just had to get there and get in line, and we stood in line.
Did they say like the genre or anything?
A horror.
Oh, okay.
And so we get there and we're in line for probably 30 or 40 minutes.
Wow.
And we finally get to the front, and he goes, how old are you guys? And I'm like, 25. And he goes, and how old are you? And my buddy goes, he's 25. And he goes, yeah, no, we have enough of you guys. Like more or less to that. I'm trying to exact
Did you find out what it was?
Yeah, it was The Crazies. It was the one with Timothy Oliphant.
Oh, it was
I was interested to see it, but basically they had enough 25-year-old white guys. And they're like, nope, you're out of here.
Yeah.
And it was just funny because I was like, oh, okay. But the cool part is they gave us tickets to go see another movie, which we did. It worked out better anyway. But it was just funny to me to have it be so like, I've never just been like rejected from something.
That's pretty
Now
funny.
I know what people out there are like, yeah, you never been rejected, white guy. That's not what I mean. What I mean is just to like wait half an hour and then just have to be like, no, you can fuck off, go do something else.
Sometimes I forget about what people will get angry about. And then you remind me, I'm like, oh, wow, I didn't even think about that, but you're right.
You've never been told no because you're white, Gary.
Oh, and I'm a man.
Maybe.
I'm a fucking straight white man.
How dare you?
No. I mean, I'm not just bitching about the trailers. It's more than that. I mean, the ability for these studios to like drum up so much hype around things and to get people so excited. And I'm fine with people getting excited about things. It's cool that the people who go to Comic-Con are so passionate about it that they take time out of their lives to go there and meet together and share their excitement and things.
Sure.
And that's great. But there's a difference between that and having like all the stars come out and like showing the trailer and like with really intense music and like all of these lights effects and blah blah blah, and doing all of that just to make more money.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really what it is. It's not about, they don't care about these people's love for the material and for, the creators and everything. It's really just to make more money.
It's to be fair, it is a business. That's what they're trying to do.
But
I've never been the one to get mad at things for that, because I'm like, look, at the end of the day, they're going to spend $150 to $200 million to make the movie, right?
That's true.
It's a shit ton of money. So I don't blame them for wanting to get it back.
But
now,
I wish they would kind of exploiting them, though.
No, of course, but we're you said it to ourselves. We're perpetuating it. We're allowing it to take place by being there, by getting more excited, by sharing the trailer. We shared the trailer between us, and we don't even care about that movie. Like that's the thing. Those things matter, and so
we wanted to shit on it.
Well, I was hoping that maybe this trailer may swing me a little bit, but when I saw it was 4 minutes and 15 seconds, I'm like, are you out of your fucking mind?
Yeah.
Like, I think trailers as a whole are way too fucking long nowadays. I will admit, I am extremely excited to see the It trailer. Mm-hmm. I'm hoping it doesn't give away too much, but it's funny because I've read the book, so I know what's going to happen. But I'm like, I hope it doesn't give away too many things. But I'm also like, I really hope it's not a 2 or 3 minute trailer. I think it's 2 minutes. I think they've released the rating, the trailer rating is like a 14 and up trailer rating.
Okay.
Because they know it's going to be scary. But I'm interested to get more excited for the movie. I do love that a little bit of me is very excited for the movie. I'm very, very excited. I'm also very, very excited to see how many people share the love for It that I do. And I'm also excited to see how many people were terrorized by that clown, as I was. But as the time keeps clicking towards the movie, the more I'm starting to go, okay, can people stop getting so excited? Because now the theater's gonna be fucking full, and I'm gonna have to buy tickets 3 days in advance, and you guys are fucking ruining my weekend.
That's the problem with Star Wars and Marvel and everything, is that's what happened. That's the end result of drumming all this hype, is people go fucking crazy about it. They spend a bunch of money seeing the movie like 5 times. There are those fucking passes where you can, have you seen those? I think it's Regal passes where you buy, you get a physical card to see a certain movie as many times as you want, and it's free. So you pay literally $100 to see one movie as many times as you want.
So realistically,
I think the first time I saw it was Guardians of the Galaxy 1.
Well, let's see. So unless you're going to IMAX, does it work for IMAX?
I don't know.
So I'm going to say,
let me guess. You probably have to pay an extra charge.
Let's just say it worked for IMAX. You'd still have to go see it 5 times to break even, which is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
The last time
maybe
I saw
it wasn't
a movie,
100, but it was at least like 80.
The last time I saw a movie like 3 or 4 times in the theater, I think was like Jurassic Park. I saw the movie like 4 times in the theater.
The most I've seen was Inception, which was 7 times.
Jesus Christ.
I know.
I don't even know how.
But I was young. I didn't have a job.
It's like 17 hours of your life. It's like a full day of your life.
But here's the thing. I haven't seen it since. I cannot watch that movie anymore because of how many times I've seen it.
Well, the thing is I don't actually mind people going and see the movie a second or third time. What's tough for me is when people go and pre-buy like the midnight showing tickets like a month in advance.
Yeah.
And then you get there, what if the movie's shit?
Well, the best thing that's happened in movie theaters...
You've written a contract for yourself that you're going to go see that movie, and then it could be garbage.
The best thing that's happened to movie theaters is reserved seating.
Oh God, I can't do that now. I can't.
Yeah, because before that, people they waited in lines for 12 hours. I've done it.
Yep.
And that was absurd. I
feel like you did
reserved seating is such a logical, obvious.
I think it was Inception.
Solution.
I think you said you were going to stay in line for that one, and that was a fucking
Dark Knight Rises.
Dark Knight Rises.
More than 12 hours. And I didn't even like that movie that much.
It was okay. Well, that's the thing that's funny is if you think about it. So before you used to wait at least an hour to see the movie. If you didn't do that, you'd go wait. You'd get there you didn't get there 45 minutes early, and then there's 15 minutes of fucking trailers. Yeah. So you'd be like, fuck, I'm gonna spend an hour to watch a 2-hour movie. Now I show up 5 minutes before the thing. There's still 23 fucking minutes of trailers.
We saw Dunkirk.
Jesus.
The night that it came out.
Which is a first for me.
And we bought the tickets the same day, and we got there 10 minutes before it started.
Yeah. And it was still I clocked it, by the way.
It was 5 years ago. We never would have had tickets.
No chance.
And we never would have been able to get there 10 minutes before it started.
And the thing is, I wouldn't have sat in a fucking leather recliner, which was badass.
Yeah, exactly.
But the thing is, I clocked it. I don't know if you saw me check my watch. It was 23 minutes from the time the first trailer started to the last Dolby Cinema thing. 23 minutes.
Yeah.
That's fucking insane. Like, what the fuck do you need to... Show me a couple trailers. The trailers all don't need to be 6 minutes
The joke is
fucking
we
long.
see them all on YouTube now.
Well, that's the thing.
That's
Is
the
all
joke.
the trailers we saw...
Or we
you
see
and I
them
said
on
the
our
same thing.
Facebook.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. You have to admit, there was one trailer. Maybe one trailer out of all those that we looked at and we're like, oh, I can't wait to see that. Everything else we're like, eh.
What? I don't even remember what
Exactly! You don't even remember which one you were excited about. We were just kind of like...
Oh, it was the Michael Fassbender thriller.
The Snowman.
Yeah. But
Jesus.
that one with Michael... who is it? Michael Shit.
Michael Shit.
Michael Shit.
He of...
That's Michael Sheen's nickname.
Michael Shit.
Michael Shit. Out of all the Michaels, he's the one who gets the shit. No, Michael Keaton. Remember, like, with
American
the
Assassin.
killer? It was like a Bourne
American
takeout.
Assassin.
It looked so fucking average. Anyway,
Just trite. Just...
which trailer? There was another trailer I was going to talk about.
Okay.
Ready Player One.
Okay.
Was a book written in 2011 that neither of us know that much about, but I kind of do now that I know the trailer and I've read comments about it.
Okay.
It's a book where the main character, it takes place in the future, and the main character goes into this virtual reality thing, kind of like
Gamer?
I guess, Gamer or
Wreck-It Ralph.
no. What was the virtual reality one with Arnold Schwarzenegger? And they made
Total Recall.
Total Recall, kind of like that.
All I had to say was movie with the chick with the 3 boobs. As soon as you said that, I'm like, Total Recall.
But speaking of the 80s, so what it is he goes into this. It's not really a game world, but it's just like they play games in it, but it's like this virtual reality world.
Yeah.
And it
like
has
the PlayStation Home.
It has all these references and all of these characters from the 80s. And I guess that's the book. And I guess now when the movie is it's not just the 80s, it's
updated
just
it.
Everyone. All these,
so it's Wreck-It Ralph.
So it's like video game characters, comic book characters, blah blah blah. So I'm watching the trailer. I don't really know much about it. I'm not really that angry yet, but
sure.
I watched the trailer. Like 5 seconds into the trailer, it shows the Iron Giant. Then there's Harley Quinn and Deadshot or whoever.
Suicide Squad. Okay.
Then there's Duke Nukem. There's you can hear the Willy Wonka theme in the background.
Okay.
To the song from Willy Wonka, and then the fucking DeLorean comes on screen from Back to the Future, and my blood pressure is going up and up, and I'm like, fuck, what the fuck is happening? And it's like, so let me get this straight. Steven Spielberg is directing this movie.
Yeah.
Steven fucking Spielberg is directing this movie about a guy who just goes into a world and, it's based on a book everyone likes, but he goes into a world that's just made up of pop culture.
Yes.
And it's like, what?
Yes.
Like, that's the entire, that's the thing? That's the movie?
I think that's the only thing that you're going to hang your hat on is like, it's Spielberg, so maybe it won't be bad.
It'll be directed well, sure.
Yeah.
But he's directed some things very well that are some pretty shit movies.
True.
But, okay, let me get more specific as to why I'm so angry. Because I'm sure people are like, well,
even
what's
I'm
the
like,
problem?
what? Yeah.
What's the problem with that? Okay. My viewpoint is that referencing things and using things from other franchises in a new franchise, like, diminishes their artistic value.
So they're basically saying there's almost no originality in the story. You're using the other places.
Right, you're using other people's originality to be original.
I get that.
And you're like, and it not only that, but it taints those like legacy of those original movies for new generations. Because what's going to happen is kids 10 years from now will be like, after the Ready Player One third sequel comes out, they'll be like, oh, the DeLorean's in this one too. And then they'll be like, oh yeah, I love the DeLorean. I have the toy and everything, blah, blah, blah. And then you say like, yeah, the one from Back to the Future, because you don't know what Ready Player One is. And they're like, what's Back to the Future? It's like, yeah, that's the fucking problem.
Yeah.
And they're like, I love the Iron Giant. And then you say, oh yeah, I love that movie too. What do you mean? He's just the guy from Ready Player One. It's like,
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. No.
And then you hear the Willy Wonka song. You're like, that's a great song.
I'm realizing what you're mad about is
Right.
basically what I get mad about at you all the time.
For what?
Like, have you seen that yet? And you're like, no. And I'm like, God damn it, Gary, how have you not seen that?
Yeah. but it's just collecting all of other people's legacies, all of like collecting a Zemeckis like perfect trilogy.
Yeah.
And like in my opinion, and one of the best animated movies of all time's main character.
Yeah.
And who like I have this huge emotional
Same.
connection to.
Iron Giant's amazing.
Yeah, and like Duke Nukem, but like, and then like, but the song from Willy Wonka has
Freddie was in there,
touched
too.
millions of children's hearts, and it's like
Well, see, that already got pooped on, though. I think the
that's
newer
true.
version got pooped all over
Maroon
it.
5 covered it
Exactly. So I'm
but but
that one's been covered
taking
already.
all of those and putting them in this, just like forcing it down people's throat in this new thing is just it's disheartening. Like it.
I see.
Makes me
Really
really sad.
It is taking it. You are taking it incredibly personally.
I know, but
no.
that's how
I'm
I
not saying
feel
you're
about
welcome
it.
to. You're welcome to. And
Yeah.
if you think about it, like just to play devil's advocate a bit, Wreck-It Ralph kind of did it with some of the characters, right? Like we knew those characters from other things, but not to the same thing.
But to be fair, those are just like they're little arcade games.
Of
like
course,
they're not like
but to some people, those arcade games are a big deal.
it's true.
So I mean, if your first arcade game was Q*bert, I played Q*bert on my grandparents' computer when I was 3.
Yeah.
So I was like, Q*bert. People are like, who the fuck is Q*bert? I'm like, fuck
Frogger
you.
or
Yeah.
yeah.
But the thing is, I think what
You
they're
can
going to
make that point for that movie too.
what
I
they're
guess.
banking it on realistically is that the kids going to see it, and this is me playing. I don't normally take this side of the argument. Normally, I'm like, yeah, I'm fucking angry too. I'm wondering if it's, hey, you grew up with these things. They're important to your childhood. Your kids are going to see things that were important to you from a different point of view. Now, if that's the case, if they do that well, then it could be cool.
See,
if they don't do that and they rape it like they've raped everything else from my fucking childhood,
Yeah.
where they take all the things that were important to me as a kid and they go, hey, we're going to remake that and make it awful, then you are finally venturing into that portion of your life where the things that were sacred to you as a child are no longer sacred to people who want to make money off of it.
See,
It's true.
I get that.
Yeah.
But and you could make the argument that it like makes it more current and like it makes it palatable for younger people who might not go back and watch this older stuff.
Yeah.
But I would
And
argue
maybe it'll trigger some people to want to go back and see the old stuff.
that's true.
A kid that would never have seen Back to the Future may go, "What's that car from, Daddy?" And you go,
Okay.
"That's from Back to the Future,
that's
kid."
true. But that's
But if you're
I'm
a
not
good
that
fucking parent, your
optimistic.
kid should have already seen fucking Back to the Future.
exactly.
Fucker.
That's what I was gonna get
My
to.
2-year-old plays Rocket League. All right, come on.
That's what I was going to get at. Is even if that's the case, why are we at a point that we can't go back and watch a movie that only came out like 30 years ago? Like, why can't we go back and watch those originals?
Yeah.
Why do we have to have it shoved down our throats again now? Like, it's,
Well, you said it. You said it. You gave us the reason already.
it's like we
No.
It's
You-
like we
you
keep
get- hold on.
regurgitating.
You gave
these
us the
things.
reason already.
What?
What's the reason?
Because people have no attention
No,
spans and they feel like they need
no.
to be
No,
spoon-fed.
no. Even
What?
easier than that.
What?
Money. It's
Yeah.
money.
Okay. Yeah.
If you can
no. See,
if you can take
no,
something-
me being angry about it doesn't mean that I don't know that it's all
No,
for money.
I understand. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
not saying that you don't know it's for money, and I'm not
Right.
saying that makes it better. What I'm saying is, if you
That's
can
why
go
I'm so
back,
angry.
if you think about all the as a kid, the Happy Meals, the toys,
Yeah.
the trinkets that were for the movies when they were coming out,
Yeah.
and the millions of dollars they made on those, and they go, hey, we can make millions of dollars again without creating a single new character.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
What's funny is I've met friends who they wouldn't like disagree with me, but they would kind of like just not care.
Yeah.
Because I know people who just like probably mostly libertarians who are just like, oh, it's a free market. They can, it's WB making it. It's all of their property.
Yeah.
That's why they can put it in this movie.
Yep.
And so like they have the right to do this to that stuff.
Yes.
And they're coming at a place of business where like they're making money off of it. They're capitalizing on their own stuff.
Yep.
And I come at it as a point of like artistic,
course.
these things having artistic value and having merit. And if you're regurgitating like this, it's going to shit on that merit and it's going to make them less valuable.
Yeah.
And
Well,
so
imagine being the child that I was.
I'm the bleeding heart liberal who's
God.
coming at it from the outside.
I'm looking at it from the point where I was a 4-year-old whose first video game was Super Mario Brothers on the Nintendo.
Yeah.
And they decided to make a movie out of it with John Leguizamo.
Oh, yeah.
And I love John Leguizamo. That thing is a steaming pile of shit.
That and Street Fighter.
Fighter fucked me up the ass. Mortal Kombat. The first one
Yeah.
I enjoyed because I was a kid. The second one was either 2 or 3.
There
other
are a
ones
bunch of those
awful.
old video game movies.
And they just said, you know what? I don't care, kid. I don't care that you enjoyed it and you have some sort of connection to these characters. We are going to take them and we are going to ruin them. And there's nothing you can do about it.
What's funny is that I don't relate as well to that.
Yep.
Because they stopped doing that because they were like,
We're not
I
making
guess
money
video
from this."
games just aren't going to work in
Yep.
Hollywood.
Yep.
And there are very few exceptions to that.
Well, now they're doing it the other way around. Now they're taking the movies and they're adding new things to them. Like, for example, Disney taking Star Wars, which was never... They had a small part of the park at the Star Tours ride. And like, you know what? Now that we own the rights to Star Wars, we should make a gigantic land out of it. And it's like, yeah, there could be some cool stuff there, but you're absolutely taking a property that's already been established and you're going to make billions of dollars off of it.
I feel like
But you can't get mad because George Lucas has been doing that for 40 fucking years. He's been rehashing, regurgitating. How many versions of the original trilogy are there?
Yeah.
And he just goes, hey, give me your money. There's like 3 new scenes in this. There's a new Jabba scene where the CG looks like dog shit.
Yeah.
I probably pissed off a lot of Disney and Star Wars people simultaneously with that, but it's true.
I feel like when comic book movies started happening, when the MCU was, I don't know why we talk about it so much, but when the Avengers happened, when like they all came together and it was this huge mesh of all these people, I feel like Disney, like that unlocked something in Disney and some other companies where it was like, oh, we can put this guy with this guy or this franchise with this franchise and make a new thing. And when people see them come together, they'll be like, oh my God, that guy's with that guy?
No, okay, so hold on.
And it's like this whole new level of like...
You're totally right. You're totally right. But it happened way before then.
Yeah.
The crossover episodes of TGIF shows. Do you remember TGIF? Thank God It's Friday on ABC. And if I remember right, you'd have Urkel crossover to like Full House or one of those.
Yeah.
That's when it happened. Yeah. And at the time, you're like, oh, that's really cool. When I realized I was too old for crossovers was this year. Brooklyn Nine-Nine is an amazing show. I love Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Who crossed?
Hold on. Hold on, Gary.
You're going to make me so angry.
And I love the show New Girl. But for some reason, they had Jessica, Zooey Deschanel from New Girl, like driving around New York and then run into the Brooklyn Nine-Nine people. And it was the worst. It was the single worst crossover.
So bad.
It was so bad that I literally went, yep, that's the last time I ever need to see a crossover. Stick to your own universes.
Wait. I have something that we haven't... Why haven't we talked about this yet? Ed Sheeran.
Oh, God. Well, this is already a supersized episode, so we might as well just do it.
Okay, so what happened... is if you haven't seen Game of Thrones and if you don't know who Ed Sheeran is, I guess
then neither thing matters.
Yeah, but we're gonna explain it anyway. Ed Sheeran, popular British singer.
Is he British?
Yeah,
I don't know if he was British or Irish. So,
well, I don't know. Actually, I think he's British. He had a cameo.
Call it a cameo?
Yeah, he had a cameo on Game of Thrones. And so you have Arya strutting along down the road, and then she starts hearing his voice from the distance, and then she goes over, and Ed Sheeran is a Lannister soldier. And so, like, immediately...
British.
Like, okay. Immediately, you, Serena, and I look at each other like,
That's fucking Ed Sheeran.
And, yeah, and I'm like... I think I said out loud, I was like, I don't like that.
And I was like, yeah, I don't think I like that. And then you were like, I really don't like that.
And yeah, the more it happens, like I was like, whoa, the more I think about this, the more I really don't like that. And so I go on to Reddit, and I don't know if you saw on the subreddit, but it immediately became this thing where like a lot of Redditors were like, wow, people are really upset about this, and it's not that big of a deal. Like people trying to just tone it down and be like, okay, it broke the immersion, but it's also not that big of a deal. And yes, it's not. But this is called the Unreasonably Angry Podcast for a reason.
So you're one of the people that made him quit Twitter.
So, okay, yeah. No.
He's like, that's not why. I'm like, oh, come on.
They've had... So everyone immediately had to say that they've had musical cameos on there before. I'm getting lightheaded. Jesus Christ.
Yep. You're getting old, man. Get used to it.
They immediately had to say, like, a guy from Coldplay was playing at the Red Wedding. And
I didn't even recognize him. I've been listening to Coldplay since I was 15,
See,
16.
that's the thing.
I didn't recognize
That's
him.
the thing. I didn't even know that half of these cameos
Dudes from
happened.
Mastodon, I
because
recognize
that's what
them.
they are. They're like really quick background.
Yeah, please show me the part where the Coldplay guy came out and talked.
They're not fucking singing and then saying, did you remember that line he said, "Oh, it's the new one"? He literally said that.
Oh, no,
that was a line of dialogue. He said, like, someone said, where'd you hear that one? He's like, "Oh, it's a new one."
Oh, yeah, that is pretty bad.
I was like, whoa.
So I tried all
Someone
week.
wrote that. No, D&D wrote that in their fucking scripts. They wrote, you have in cap letters, Ed Sheeran, and then under that, it's a new one.
Is that actually true? Like, just like that? No.
No,
okay.
no.
I was like, if
I'm
that's
just
actually
saying.
God.
I'm just saying they had to write that out.
No, I understand. I understand.
They had to live with themselves after writing that out.
I'm actually picturing a script, and instead of the character's name, it says Ed Sheeran.
Yeah, just inexplicably.
So this is the thing. The first thought that crossed my mind was that Conor McGregor was originally supposed to get a cameo, which would have thrown me out of it. But at least, I mean, like, I don't think he would have had that kind of a part. But I was like, I don't really like that. Secondly, I don't understand why this. And this is what actually pissed me off. Somebody goes, "Well, nobody's complaining that the dude from Harry Potter was in the episode." I mean, you mean the established fucking actor? The guy who's been acting for 20 fucking years? Yeah,
Right.
It's a little fucking different.
That was the stupidest.
God.
That was the stupidest.
It was the
argument.
first one that it actually, I will say, and it's a stupid reason to get upset, but it did take me out for a second.
Yeah.
Like, that's fucking Ed Sheeran. And I'm not even a fan of his. I
Right.
barely know who he is. It didn't make me mad.
apparently
I'm not
Macy-
going to not watch the show.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I kind of wish, like, if you're going to be a cameo, let it be something where, like, he walks by or he's in the background. For me, I understand both sides. I understand people going, it's not that big a deal. You didn't break the world. Sure.
Yeah.
I also understand the people that are like, fuck that. I don't want to see people that I know that aren't normally actors acting in a show that I take very seriously.
Right.
So I get both.
I'm.
God, what the hell happened to me today? I'm normally so angry and I'm being fair. Fuck this.
Yeah, I'm the angry one.
Fuck everybody.
We had like a Freaky Friday situation where I'm angry.
Be a
at
dickhead, Sheeran. No, I don't.
No,
He seems like a nice kid.
I'm just. Yeah, I have no qualms
No.
with him, and apparently Macy Williams is a fan, and that was part of the reason why.
Of course, and the thing is,
so I don't have a problem with that.
I'm stoked for
just
him.
mostly-
Like, I really am. Like, can you imagine how cool that would be?
And
I
I'm
have
sad
no
that-
ill will.
I'm sad that he's
Yeah.
had to deal with the backlash. That's
Well, yeah,
too
I mean, the
bad.
thing is if you think about it, it's hard to feel bad for just him. Joffrey had to basically, like, walk away from acting because of his role. So
He's
I
gonna be
look at it and go,
typecast
no,
as
good for
bad
Ed
guys.
Sheeran. It doesn't bother me all that much.
I'm just
but
mostly
I do
just
see
disappointed.
Both. Yeah.
That the producers and the director.
I just
made
don't
that
want it to be one of those
decision.
shows. I don't want it to be a regular thing, but I
Yeah.
think because of the reaction to it, I doubt we'll see
won't
anybody
be,
else like that
right.
again. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, we gotta cut John Mayer out of the finale.
Hey, wait. You remember how we were discussing the reincarnated body of Walter Frey being played by Donald Trump? Maybe we shouldn't do that.
God, I wasn't gonna go to that length. Jesus. All right, play the outro music. Let's get out of this. Oh my God, I need some water. Thank you for listening.
Just open your mouth. I'll pee in it.
What the? Okay. Well, sterile.
Why? Is it necessary?
Thank you for listening to episode 17.
Yeah, Eric finally lost his mind toward the end here of the Unreasonably Angry podcast.
I'm Gary.
Well, first I'm going to tell people to go on and like our stuff.
damn it.
No, just go. Fuck, at the end of the episode.
We keep fucking this up. Anyway,
Remember to like our podcast on your favorite podcast app.
like us on Facebook. Rate and review us on your favorite
There you
podcast app, iTunes, Facebook. Please let us know if you like it, and let everyone else know that you like it, and spread the word.
Yeah, and if you have any questions, concerns, comments, or if you'd like to get some really awesome advice from us, please email us at unreasonablyangrypodcast@gmail.com. But until next time, my name is Eric.
And I'm Gary.
Stay angry, fuckers.